Welcome to the Blackpool Communication Champions Cluster. I'm Laura, one of the speech and language therapists working with Communicate, and I'm glad to welcome you today. Today in our cluster, we're going to be focusing on the support and resources available to the early years practitioners, including childminders who are working within the Blackpool settings. This includes the referral process into the Post WellComm Pathway, the WellComm screening tool, and the support available through ICANN's Early Talk Boost targeted intervention and the implementation of early talk strategies within daily interactions. Different members of the Communicate team will talk through each section, so feel free to make comments or ask questions through the chat features, and one of our teams will get back to you if you're watching this during the live premiere. So now I'm going to welcome Catherine Morris, who is the Better Start Early Years Coordinator for the SEND service in Blackpool, who is going to talk through the Post WellComm Referral Pathway.
Hi everyone, I'm going to talk about the Post WellComm Pathways, and I'm also going to talk to you about some of the numbers of children that have been coming through the triage panel since January. So first of all, if we have a look at the Post WellComm Pathway, children will be screened using the WellComm assessment tool, either if they are at age preschool in your settings. Ideally we would like you to screen all of them. If they are between age 2 and 3, we'd like you to screen them if you've got some concerns or if the parents have got some concerns. And then under 2s, children will be screened as part of the health visitors' ordinary assessment health checks. So the WellComm screening tool gives us a score out of 10, and depending on the age of the child, that score then links to a red, amber or green kind of rating. If the child has got a green rating, basically that means that they're developing alongside their peers, and that the things that are available to them would be parent information sessions if they've got concerns, and if they're in a setting you can continue to use the early talk strategies that you've been trained to do so. If a child has an amber score, that means that they will be eligible for some support via our colleagues in Communicate, who are helpfully organising this cluster today, and also through our home learning intervention team, which I have to say is in mobilisation at the moment. The positions for the roles have gone live, and we are in a situation where we're currently recruiting for that team, and I'll tell you a little bit about what that'll look like in a second. So if they've scored amber, the child will come through the triage panel. You send a referral in using the Post WellComm referral form that's available, and that child comes to panel. Now the panels are held every month on the last Tuesday of the month, and the deadline to get the referrals in is usually the Monday before. So if you have a look on your calendars and know that you've got children that you want to screen, in order for them to be seen as soon as possible, you need to get those children into the panel the Monday before the triage panel is due. So that's the Monday, that's sort of the third Monday in the month really would be ideally the best time to get them in, so that will get them seen in that month's triage. The children come into triage. You can see on the slide who the people are that sit on that triage panel. And then the pathway for that child and the intervention is discussed at that triage. Now currently the pathway that's available for children who score amber is that, depending on the age group, Communicate offer either setting support with early talk and early talk boost, or they would do some interventions around the It Takes Two to Talk, Hannon strategies, which are group-based strategies where children and their families are supported together. If those children are under 2 and they are scoring amber, and if they live in a Better Start ward, they are eligible and will be contacted about our home learning intervention, where we also use Hannon strategies around target word, and we support the children and their families in the home. If those children at any stage are assessed and get a red outcome, they are also referred into the triage panel, and the pathways are discussed there, and they are put on the NHS list for either the community clinic or other interventions that are specifically directed and managed by the NHS. In the meantime, those children can also get some support from Communicate based on what I've just previously said. So basically, Communicate do work with children who are judged at being amber and red, and can offer some intervention for those children while they're on the NHS waiting list. I hope that's helpful. So if we move on then to the my next slide, which is the numbers of children coming through, you can see there that I have taken the age groups across the top and the months down the side. And the largest number of children who are coming through is from that age 2 to 3 age bracket. And this is coming through from the 2.5 year development check, and it's also coming through from the 2 year progress checks that Settings are doing also. So that's the largest number of children that are coming through. We've also had an interesting number of under 2s coming through, which is really good, and 25 preschool children that have come through, which obviously in terms of school readiness is an indication of a priority, and the fact that we need to do some transition and some work through the summer with these children. So in total, over the last 6 months, we've had 154 children. The numbers you can see each month haven't dropped as a result of lockdown or anything that's happened in terms of settings closing. So we would imagine that those figures would have been more if the settings had been open during the months of February, April and May. It's just for your information really, and I just thought it would be interesting for you to see the numbers of children and the ages of those children that were coming through. I hope that's been helpful. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
As Catherine mentioned, the WellComm assessment has been extremely important in our referral process in the Blackpool area. Hopefully you should all now have an understanding of what it is and why we use it. However, here's a quick reminder. The WellComm is a quick and easy screening tool which focuses mostly on what the child can understand and what they can say. You're given 10 questions to answer about the child. Some of these are observational and others use the picture book and some toys. You'll gain a score out of 10, which will give the child a score of red, amber, green, depending on how many ticks they get. Remember, if they don't score green, we're asking you to go back to each section until they score green, just so that we have a really good idea of where their skills are and where they're up to developmentally in terms of their communication. All nurseries should have some sort of training now on the WellComm assessment. We do have some regular training dates available to anyone in your team. So if one person in the nursery has had the training, we recommend that you can have anybody else in the team can join as well. So it's not just one person per setting. We try to offer a range of days and times, but once someone's trained, you should receive a pack from us at Communicate or from the Blackpool Council to use yourselves. Childminders at the moment will have to loan packs from Communicate. In terms of what comes in the pack, you should get a black bag with the WellComm logo, the little book of score sheets and rules, which will be your Bible, and the big book of ideas, which again will be really useful for you. The CD on this picture is not included. The toys aren't included either, but they're items that you can find really easily around the setting. And I'd suggest that you collect some of these and put them in a little bag or even in the WellComm bag so that you're ready to go at any time. The WellComm was designed to be used by different professionals, so you might find that, as well as yourselves, teachers, children's centre staff, health visitors are also carrying out these assessments. Some schools are using them independently as well. We recommend that the person with the closest bond with the child carries out the assessment. So when I was saying about anybody in the setting, it might be good to get everybody trained up. Because the idea is to get the best out of the child, to get a real true reflection of their skills. So if they're more relaxed around a certain person, they should perform to the best of their ability. We want a really true reflection, and remember, try not to give any clues to help them along at all. Again, we want this true reflection of what they can do when they're at the best. So when to do it. So the Blackpool Council would like all children who are of preschool age to be screened, even those who are already under a service for their communication. The idea is that so we have a really good grasp on how many children have a mild, moderate or severe communication delay, and so that we can put some extra support in place where needed, particularly when they're coming up for school age. How you choose to do this is completely up to you. So some nurseries are blanket screening at the beginning of a term, and other nurseries are spreading it out over time. Secondly, if there is a child in your setting who's 2 years or over for whom you have a bit of a concern, please then conduct a WellComm for these children too. It might be that your concerns are around unclear speech or attention skills, but please do the WellComm assessment as well. It's still of added value at the panel meeting, and there are opportunities for you to add any other concerns within the score sheet and in with the referral form. As I mentioned earlier, training dates are often available on our website and shared via our Facebook page. Please keep an eye out and book yourself on or your staff member if needed. Our communication practitioners are available to support you in implementing this WellComm within nursery. So if you'd like to do a practice run with a practitioner or just want to get your head around the resources and have a few further questions, please don't hesitate to get into touch with us. You should know who your allocated communication practitioner is. If not, please take a note of our email at the end and just send through an email and your practitioner should be in touch with you, and you can go from there. Now I'm going to hand over to Sarah Kettlewell, who will talk to you about the early talk boost intervention from ICANN.
Hello everybody, my name's Sarah. I'm a speech and language therapist and I work for Communicate Speech and Language Therapy. And today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about ICANN Early Talk Boost. So ICANN Early Talk Boost is a targeted intervention and it's aimed at 3 to 4 year olds who have delayed language skills. And it helps to boost their language skills to help narrow that gap between them and their peers. The programme aims to accelerate children's progress in language and communication by an average of about 6 months in a 9-week intervention period. It also helps to build relationships with parents by reinforcing the language skills that the children learn during the group sessions. Parents are involved in the intervention through things like a parent workshop where they will learn interaction strategies and also strategies to use while sharing books with their children. And they're also encouraged to share the Early Talk Boost books that are read in the sessions at home with their children as well. So this picture on this slide shows you what the resources for the Early Talk Boost intervention look like. So this is what you should get in your pack. Hopefully you will have received your Early Talk Boost pack or will be receiving it soon. So the things that you will get in there, number one is an intervention manual. So that is your really big ring binder and that contains all of the intervention sessions across the 9 weeks and details of how to run these sessions. So all of the different activities that you're going to be doing, all of the resources you'll need, what to say and what to do. The intervention itself runs across a 9-week period, and there are 3 sessions per week within those 9 weeks. The sessions tend to run for about 15 to 20 minutes, but it will depend on your group size. The manual also contains a tracker tool, so that's what you're going to use to assess the children in your setting in order to identify which children are going to be appropriate for the Early Talk Boost intervention. And you're going to use that tracker tool again after the intervention is complete to try and track and monitor the progress of those children. You'll also receive a participant book, so that's quite a small book, and that is what you will use for your training session. So you'll be referring to that throughout the training, and that walks you through all of the slides and the material that we cover. You'll receive a toolkit of resources, so that's that big red sack that's at the back of the picture there. And in that sack you've got lots and lots of resources that you'll use whilst you administer your tracker, but also for your intervention sessions. So there's lots of toys in there, lots of musical instruments, all the things you'll need to run your activities. And you've also got in there Tizzy the Tiger, who's this little puppet here. He features in all of the stories and all of the sessions, and he'll be with you throughout the entire intervention, so make sure you've got him on hand. And the final thing that you're going to have in that pack is your Jake and Tizzy books. So you will get 10 sets of these books. And the reason that you get 10 is so that you have a pack to read within your sessions, in your setting, but you've also got copies of those books to send home to parents who will hopefully be sharing the books at home with their children. The books features the characters of Jake and Tizzy, and they bring to life the topics that you're looking at, so they reinforce the topics you're looking at week on week. There's one book for each week that you do, and you'll read that book in each week, but there isn't a book in week 9, which is why there's only 8 of them. So we'll talk a little bit about the training now. This is for practitioners who work with 3 to 4-year-olds in early years settings, and once you have done the training and have received your resources, you're able to go ahead and start doing the intervention. The training course is free for Blackpool early years staff to access, or if you are a member of school staff attached to an early years setting, you can access the training for a small charge. So practitioners are trained over normally 1 short day or 2 sessions, and within these sessions we hope that you'll develop the skills and the knowledge that you need to understand the rationale behind Early Talk Boost, but also to use that tracker tool to assess children and to monitor progress, and finally to actually deliver the intervention sessions successfully as well. So you can find our training dates on the Communicate Speech and Language Therapy website, and we also share our training days on Facebook as well, so please do check these to look for upcoming training dates. We try to offer training dates across different times so that we can try and kind of suit your routine as best we can. So there is training available normally mornings, afternoons and evenings as well, so do check that and see what works for you. Final thing to mention is our communication practitioners will be on hand to support you with this. So once you've received the training and you're getting the intervention up and running, you can utilise support from our communication practitioners with a number of things, whatever fits you. Perhaps things like using the tracker to track children's progress or to assess them, perhaps using the online tracker, carrying out sessions so they can observe one of your sessions and provide feedback. They can model a session to you if there are a couple of activities you're not sure about, and they can also help you with engaging parents as well, so things like planning workshops. I'm going to hand over to Laura now, who's going to talk to you a little bit about ICANN Early Talk training for 0 to 5s.
ICANN Early Talk, 0 to 5s, supporting communication and language. This is a 5-hour training course that offers practitioners the opportunity to increase their knowledge of how communication skills develop, alongside strategies to use within daily interactions and activities that can be used to maximise the communication development for every child every day. The training offers an opportunity to explore the practical resources that can be used within your setting and can be shared with the child's family to maximise those communication development opportunities. These are some of the resources included with the I Can Early Talk training that are provided once you have attended. As you can see, there's a DVD with videos to support the learning that has happened, lots of practical resources that can be used specifically with children, such as the Ready Steady Talk book or the Toddler Talk activity cards. There are also lots of resources that can be shared with families, such as the Stages of Speech and Language Communication poster and the Talk Together leaflets that are full of strategies that parents might find helpful. The information and strategies explored within the I Can Early Talk training is appropriate for every member of the children's workforce that are supporting families with children aged between 0 to 5. It's anticipated that most practitioners within early years settings within Blackpool, including childminders and children's centre staff, will have had the opportunity to attend this training. So do contact us if you've not had this training yet. Each early year setting within Blackpool will receive a pack of resources once they have completed the training and the support available to help implement those. Childminders and children's centre staff are also able to access these resources and loan them from a central location. So again, get in touch if you need these resources. The early talk strategies are really useful within everyday interactions, and they're particularly useful if you feel that there's a child whose communication skills may need some support, or if a parent asks for a little more advice about what they could be doing to help. They're also a really useful guide that can be used to help you reflect upon your skills as a whole setting around what you're already doing to support communication development, and if there are other aspects which you might like to include to further enhance these skills. They may also be useful as part of the Post WellComm Pathway, and the triage panel may make the recommendation that a communication practitioner from Communicate makes contact with yourselves to discuss and support the implementation of specific strategies or resources that may help that child's communication skills develop further. The communication practitioners from Communicate are able to offer lots of practical support for you about how to embed the learning and the resources from the I Can Early Talk training into your everyday good practice that's already occurring within your settings. This support may take the form of modelling or discussing how to use a particular strategy or resource with a specific child or even a group of children. They may also support individual staff members to embed their learning within their existing practice, or discuss how to use the resource packs within your daily routines to really create more opportunities to maximise that communication for everyone in the setting. Within children's centres, this may take the form of discussing and modelling strategies within activity groups, or how to share the ideas with parents. The early talk training is regularly offered by Communicate locally to the Blackpool area. It can be booked via the events page on the Communicate SLT website, and we also offer this as whole setting training, so do invite us to deliver it within your own setting at a time that's convenient for you. There is a range of support available from the Communicate team. Each setting has a linked communication practitioner who can contact you regularly and check in with how you're getting on and what support you may wish to help you through the Post WellComm Pathway and implement the strategies. The support may include offering training to individual team members or implementing the learning from the training that has been attended. such as the WellComm, the Early Talk or the Early Talk Boost training. They can model individual strategies and activities to support you or to plan how to enhance the whole environment through using the Early Years Communication Commitment tool. Our communication practitioners are also able to offer opportunities for families to be able to access advice relating to supporting communication development for their child when they're at home. This may be through attending specific events and groups, providing an opportunity for informal discussion or meeting around a specific child. There are also opportunities for one of the speech and language therapists to chat through information relating to specific communication difficulties if this is felt appropriate. There is also support available for childminders and staff working as part of the Children's Centres teams within Blackpool. So do get in touch if you would like to access any of this support.
Hi everyone, nice to see you all. Hope you're keeping well. We hope to see you really soon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you for taking the time to reflect upon the information in this video that relates to the Post WellComm Pathway within Blackpool. Please do get in touch with us by any of these methods if you have questions, would like more information, or indeed would like to arrange a support session from a communication practitioner. All information, including training dates and how to book a place, is available on the events page on the Communicate SLT website and is updated regularly. Please contact us if you would like to arrange training for your setting or access resources. We hope that you found this session and the information useful. Thanks to Catherine, Sarah and Becca for presenting. Please do complete the feedback form available on the link in the chat or directly on the Communicate SLT website following the link on this slide.